Morning, Russ. You mentioned it briefly in passing on Saturday. Some big news that came out last week about the training ground. At last, there appears to be light at the end of this tunnel. How massive is it going to be for you to finally have some, I suppose, appropriate and purpose-built training ground and pitches for you guys to train on?
I think, yeah, for us, it makes the biggest difference. If you look at, and we look at every area of what we're doing, the club, the team, the staff, we look at everything, and the biggest area for improvement is for sure is the stadium pitch and the training pitches. I think with the way we play, especially, it makes a big difference to us in how we can operate, how we can, in terms of the process every single day, having training pitch, the way the players feel, because you come into a stadium like this with fantastic facilities, really good. Being here day in, day out, it's no problem. It's befitting of a high performance environment and a professional culture. You know, and as I've said before, without being too critical, I find it really difficult to operate at top level at Woughton. It's not good enough for a club like ours with what we got here. So we've been training elsewhere, which has been good for us. But it's not good because we have 4 injuries of the same type that the physio hasn't seen. You know, Simon and the gang haven't seen very much at all this year, and they put it down to the surface we train on. But it's the less of two evils. I think it's been better for us. So having new pitches to train on and a better pitch here makes a huge difference to how we work and how we can perform and what we can do. So yeah, it'd be a huge game changer for us. There's no doubt about it. And when the chairman first mentioned it, and he appreciates and acknowledges it, it will make the biggest difference to us. So of course, his support in doing that after a global pandemic and what's gone on is brilliant and greatly appreciated by all of us. And hopefully we can get them sooner rather than later.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think the stadium for most clubs is the place that they only really show up to every other Saturday and you know, get the job done out on the pitch. And it's a place that's not really their home. The training ground is more their home. But for Dons, it's very much the stadium that's the heart of it. And I suppose having a purpose-built place for your training ground, that's going to change where the heart of the club lies.
Yeah, well, I think initially it will just be training pitches. So we'll still be based here. There are a lot of League 1 and 2 clubs that are based at their stadium and then go elsewhere to train. But it is just going to pitches. Yeah, we just need 2 good pitches, and obviously the pitch here as well. I don't think we've ever used it as an excuse. I think we've said a lot. I've been really proud of how the boys have adapted and done what they've been able to do on some really difficult pitches. But obviously it makes our life harder. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, we are really grateful for the facilities we have here, and it's no problem being based here. As I said, it's a fantastic facility. We've got everyone works closely together down here. It keeps us in touch and connected to the people in the hotel as well, to the rest of the club in the ticket office, the shop. Keeps us connected to everyone, and we'd like to build on that connection and grow that, because there's definitely a lot of area for improvement in that space where we can be more connected with those guys and make sure they're aware of what we're doing and how they can help us and how we can possibly help them. So that needs to grow as well. So there's no problem being based here. It's just if we're going to drive somewhere else to go and train, ideally it would be better than what we have to put. And I appreciate that every manager's had to deal with it, but I think even the players who have been here a long time will tell you that it's in Woughton's probably as bad as it's ever been for a number of reasons. So yeah, it's just not befitting the club and where we want to go. And the chairman's acknowledged that, and him and Andy once again, and have acknowledged that where we can make a big improvement, and it's that. So we're all excited about it. Obviously, that will take a bit of time because of the planning involved and the finance and everything else involved in it. But yeah, for the chairman to come out and make it public as well is brilliant, because it means it's going to happen at some point in the near future, and it will make a huge difference to us.
I bet the chopping and changing of locations and surfaces probably doesn't help you guys either.
Yeah, it's just not ideal, really. I think when we're trying to, it's hindered us in terms of a few players who didn't sign here, and what stated that as one of the reasons, whether it's genuine or not. But where they went elsewhere, there was training ground and a better facility. But yeah, it just takes a bit more planning, a bit more logistics, and booking of pitches and stuff. But yeah, I just don't think we could have got away with training on Woughton for the whole season without I mean, we had a few injuries there last year, and also when it's cold and windy with the road there and the noise, it's not very conducive, as I said, to a high performance environment. It makes it difficult. So I'm really grateful for being able to use. We've been at Fairfields a lot this year, which the set of taken on the lease there, and we've been really fortunate. We've been able to access the 3G facility, which is great there. But obviously the guys play and train on something different and on different services. But it's been really good for us. We're really grateful that the set have been able to get us on there, and we'll continue using that and to the end of the season, and then hopefully we have a better look in Woughton for pre-season, and then not long after that we should have some pitches, hopefully.
On some slightly more public and brighter news, it feels like the steps towards coming out of the pandemic is taken another step today. In terms of life at MK Dons, is anything going to change as a result of the restrictions being lifted today, or are you going to keep everything as is until the end of the season now?
I don't think it can change. We're still getting tested twice a week, so we had the pleasure of getting tested this morning already. So no, enough. What I would say is it's really nice to see the world slowly come back to life. Small businesses, gyms, pubs. It'll be really nice for a lot of people, and it will make a difference just to the feel around the stadium as well. It's been like a ghost town for a long time, and for the guys that travel and stay in a hotel, it's been a little bit difficult for them. As I said, all the way through the season, it's been quite tough for some of the guys who have not been able to see their families, and also the people here, usually there's a bit of life, they can go to a restaurant together or whatever. So to have that slowly coming back to life will make a difference to some of the players, definitely. How we operate won't make a big difference day to day, especially to the end of the season, because we still have the protocols. We're still meeting in a different room, and we have to limit that time. The guys still can't be in the dressing room together. So all of that will have to remain to the end of the season. And hopefully next season we'll have some normality, and they can spend more time together, and we'll be able to actually spend more time in the meeting rooms together. And but yeah, it's certainly very nice to see the rest of the world coming back to life slowly but surely. And fingers crossed we can remain on that path now, and on the roadmap out of the COVID measures and back to normality, because it's been a long time. And as I said a lot, we're really grateful we've been able to carry on through this period, because there's a lot of people who life has just stopped and been made really difficult for. So we've been really fortunate.
I was going to say about touching on good fortune. For the most part, you feel like it feels like MK Dons have managed to skirt it fairly well. They've only had a couple of games postponed as a result of other clubs having it, and aside from the fact that you had Luke and Dean, who were told to isolate, I think George Williams was as well, just before Christmas. I mean, you managed to have got away with it fairly lightly, it feels like. Yeah,
there's the number. I think the players have taken incredible responsibility with themselves to make sure they don't get involved in anything they shouldn't, and they they've stuck to the rules to protect themselves and everyone else. And also, I've got to give a huge amount of credit to Simon Crampton, who's been in charge of all of that stuff for us. He's been, the amount of hours he's had to spend on the operational side of the COVID protocols to make sure we're adhering to everything the EFL has told us to go the extra mile to make everyone else safe down here, to make sure the logistics of the dressing rooms, how they function, how they're set up, the guys, how amount of times guys spend here. So even when they're in the gym, they can't be in there together. They have to do that in groups, in small bubbles. The meetings, so all the guys down here, but led by Simon and Andy Cullen, have been incredible, really. So it's huge credit to those guys for sorting this out, and keeping everyone safe, and also to everyone else for making sure they stick to it all, because it's not always been easy, obviously, but it's brilliant. And obviously the rest of the stadium as well, the events they've had on, the staff have had to be really strict and tight with everything, and it's been really, really professional, really well done by everyone.
Onto the actual football pitch then. It's it definitely felt like a disappointing point rather than picking up 3 on Saturday.
I think if you put it into context, it's probably a lot of people thought it was a really good point going to a team who are got a lot of experience, some very good players, obviously a bit in transition at the moment, but they're fighting for the playoffs. I think the disappointing thing is we were the better team, I think, for the majority of the game. We deserved to win. We created more chances, better chances, and we just couldn't quite convert that into wins. That's the only reason it's disappointing. I don't think it's a disappointing point. I just think it's disappointing we didn't win. And it was a good reaction after Monday as well. So I am pleased with the performance. After watching it back, I'm still pleased. We gave them very, very little. The only frustration watching it back is the final third stuff. So is the not being able to finish. And we have some really good opportunities in their box that we don't take. And the goalkeeper, again, we're talking about that on Monday, although the performance was disappointing to start to the game. I thought for 60 odd minutes after that it was good. And their goalie was forced to make some really, really good saves, as was the Ipswich one. So, we just got to keep knocking the door, keep doing that. We've shown we've been a real threat recently, put a lot of balls in the box, made people defend a lot more than we did do before that for a run of games. And we carry on doing that. We'll keep creating chances. We'll score some goals. And most positive thing is the performance level consistently now, apart from Crewe for half an hour where we lacked intensity, which shouldn't have happened, but it did. Apart from that, I think, last 5, 6, 7 games, boys have been really consistent and performed really, really well to a high level. So we have to maintain that and keep doing that. Make sure that we're in a really good place to finish the season well.
I think we spoke about Lincoln a few weeks ago. Obviously, that copy that I've written was put firmly in the background because the game was called off. But, you go in there, they're not in a terrific run of form at the moment, are they?
They're not. No, obviously, they've been disrupted by COVID as well, but they've lost a lot of key players for injury, which makes it tough for any team, especially when you're competing at the top end. It's relentless, the amount of games, the hectic fixture schedule. But I don't think you can take away anything from them, from Michael Appleton and the team. They've had an incredible season so far. I'm sure they want to finish it off by cementing their places in the playoffs. But there's a lot of teams fighting for the same thing up there. Charlton, Portsmouth, Ipswich, who we just played. Blackpool now in there will want to stay in there. So, they have every game is big for them. And then they're really fighting to stay in there and make sure as I said, they cement themselves in there. So we go there in a good place. I think we've won 4, drawn 1 and lost 1 in the last 6. As I said, performances have been really good. And we'll go there and just try and impose our own game. It's a game I feel still hurts me a bit, the home one here when we got beat to a penalty that wasn't, and we got an apology for after, and then obviously a goal and a counter-attack, but I thought we played really well that day. We have to go there and make sure we try and put in a similar level of performance and add that last little bit in the final third. But they're a team that pose real threat, got a couple of really good young players. They've recruited really well. And he's had time. I feel like he went in there and there was a big change, a big transition from the previous manager. He's changed a lot in terms of the personnel, the group, the players, the style, and it's really, bearing fruit now. And it's something obviously we can look at from afar and see some similarities. Full credit to them and for what they've done and how they've done it. And it'll be a tough game, there's no doubt about it. But it's one we're really looking forward to, really, really looking forward to. And if we can match our level of performance, as I said, we'll go there confident of imposing ourselves in the game and getting something.
You mentioned the recruitment there. I think he's probably got your number on speed dial, hasn't he? Picking up 3 of your players from last season.
Well, we've never spoken about any of them, but I think, it's credit to the guys that have gone there and done so well. Connor and Walshy, and obviously Regan in January as well, and playing in the position he wants to play in at right back. And they're all left to our best wishes. We've got a great relationship with all 3 of them, 3 top guys. I'm pleased for them. It's gone well, obviously, and tomorrow hopefully it'll be good to catch up with them, I'm sure, and a few of the teammates. I don't think there's many left from here to catch up with and talk to, but after the game, of course, for 90 minutes, you don't want them to play particularly well, and you hope we can beat them. But I'm sure it'll be good. Be good to see them. And as I said, they're all good guys and left there on really positive terms with the club and with myself and with the staff. And we wish them nothing but the best after the 90 minutes tomorrow.
And finally, you mentioned the injury to Warren O'Hora to us on Saturday. What's the latest with Louis Thompson and Cameron Jerome?
Yeah, Louis is going to be back fairly quickly, which is good. So more of a precaution than anything. Cammy might take a little bit longer, but we're hopeful to get him back before the end of the season as well. Just really unfortunate. As I said, Cammy's got a similar injury to a couple of the others have had, and puts it down to training, obviously on a different surface to what we play. But I think it's been a safer option. We've actually done really well again with muscle injuries this year and avoiding injury as much as possible. What we have had has been, again, contact or just overload like Warren's with his foot. It's disappointing, but we will have them back hopefully before the end of the season. With that, Louis definitely, and Cammy, depends how quickly he reacts to the treatment. But he's a bit of a machine, is our Cam, so hopefully he'll be all right.